Good morning, hobby enthusiasts. Good morning, Ricky. Hopefully, we are all having a wonderful day here in the middle of November. Thanksgiving, the holidays are quickly approaching. However, we have a fantastic episode of Hobby Talk, a cardboard podcast to dive into. First, without further ado, let's get our pleasantries out of the way. Ricky, good morning. How are you doing today?
What's up, Murph? Good morning. I'm doing good. These guys figuring themselves out, but yeah, everything's going good so far.
Happy to hear that. And I feel like with every episode that goes by, you get more and more and more into Pokemon. And I know one of our topics today is going to be about the brand new set coming out in a couple of months, Prismatic Evolution. We've been talking about that. We've been talking about Surging Sparks a little bit over on Instagram. However, we do have some sports stuff, obviously, to get into because that is kind of the bread and butter of this podcast here. Quickly, before we dive into anything else, I know we didn't jot this down, but Drake May versus Caleb Williams last week. Is Drake May the better quarterback? I know I've been harsh on him. I know I've been very anti Drake May, but Caleb Williams kind of sucks.
I like Drake May, actually. I think he looks pretty good. I think we were saying the same thing about Mac Jones the first year, but
put my gloves on. Cold.
Not the gloves.
Cold over here.
No, but I do think Caleb Williams is the better player.
Mm-hmm.
As much as no one wants me to hear that. And it's not just me living in Chicago, I promise, but just a little. But no, I just think this all ties into the discussion about rushing rookie QBs.
And I think that's a good place for us to kind of start, actually. I guess it was an indirect segue into one of our topics today, is that's the lack of quarterback hype in this hobby. We've talked about the lack of quarterback. I can't wear these gloves. I look stupid. Lack of quarterback. It is very cold. Lack of quarterback development, kind of like you alluded to. And I think it's a major problem in the NFL, honestly, because we were sitting here this time last year, Ricky, talking about how great CJ Stroud was, how fantastic he was playing, how much of a bust Bryce Young was looking. And this time now we're looking at CJ Stroud and be like, he's not living up to the hype or the expectations we set upon him. Is he regressing? Is he in a sophomore slump? Is the team bad? Is he bad? Whatever. And then we look at a guy like Anthony Richardson, starter, benched, starting, benched, injured, benched, starting. And it's just like, we can't have any consistency at the quarterback position, specifically for the young quarterbacks. Now, Jaden Daniels, people will be like, wow, well, is he the exception? Jaden Daniels is what CJ Stroud was last year. Right. And look at Stroud this year. So who's to say, as great as Daniels is playing, and he was my favorite out of the 5 or 6 or whatever that was going to be in the first round, what's to say that he could have a sophomore slump this time next year? So I kind of want to pick your brain about that, Ricky. I mean, is it a NFL problem that they can't develop young quarterbacks, or that they rush these young quarterbacks? Or is it maybe a collegiate problem where they're coming out not ready? Or maybe is it a player problem where these guys just absolutely suck?
I think it could be a perfect storm of all three. I do think that these NFL teams do serve these quarterbacks no justice, just throwing them in there when they're not ready. Like, I know that's the new normal now. You know, QBs are expected to perform right out of the gate, but I do think that this is just not the way to do it. They'll hopefully start doing it the same way that they always used to soon. Like, I think Penix is doing it the right way, as much as people dogged on that pick. I think the Falcons and Penix are doing it the right way. I feel.
Go ahead. Sorry. No, go ahead.
No. The situation in Indianapolis sucks. Like, there's no way Anthony Richardson can come up productive, at least this year, from that. From starting to bench, starting, like you said.
It's like Mac Jones last year. And that messed with them big time.
Yeah, that's gonna mess with their head. They don't get like the reps that they need or the observations that they need. It's, and then it affects the whole card market too.
And that's a great point, because as we've been going to shows and as we've been buying and selling and as we've been talking about the hobby, of course, at the end of the day, no matter what conversation or what sport we talk about or Pokemon or whatever, it's always going to revolve around the rookie quarterback market. I mean, that is just the pinnacle of sports trading cards right now in this hobby. And it has been for a couple years, and it probably will continue to be that. Maybe people will smarten up and be like, oh, wow, this fourth, fifth year receiver is actually pretty good. He has a stable market. Maybe we should buy his card instead. Maybe we'll see kind of a change of the guard come then. Who knows? But yeah, with the poor play of quarterbacks in recent years, or injuries that quarterbacks have had, or benchings for that matter, or just simply, poor performances, it's definitely taken a hit on the market, because people, that's all the hobby has really, unfortunately, is rookie quarterbacks. No one cares about running backs. No one cares about wide receivers or tight ends. So when there's nothing to talk about in regards to the quarterback position, it almost seems like there's nothing to talk about in terms of the hobby, because I, all the hype last year, like I already mentioned, was around CJ Stroud. Bijan Robinson was kind of up and down, but he had all the talent in the world. Nobody talked about him. Nobody
Mm-hmm.
talked about Devontae Smith when he was coming out, or Jalen Waddle, or Kyle Pitts. Yeah, people talked about Jamar Chase, but who cares about his market right now? Even though he's the best wide receiver, Justin Jefferson, same thing. So I hope we'll see kind of a changing of the guard towards those kind of players, especially with the inconsistencies we're seeing at the quarterback position. Because without the quarterback position, there's nothing that's generating any hype or buzz right now in this hobby. I mean, obviously, other local teams, like, maybe basketball teams, baseball if it's in season, hockey if you're in the right market. But yeah, I mean, with these poor playing quarterbacks over the recent years, it feels like there's nothing really to kind of get us excited and juiced up to talk about football cards.
Yeah, I mean, when all this goes on, the safe bets are always a good buy, like Mahomes, Josh Allen. Who else? I'm sure there's
I mean, Brady.
Lamar.
Oh, you talking about
Lamar.
active guys?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Lamar. I mean, is Aaron Rodgers even a safe bet? I mean, he's a Hall of Famer, but he's struggling a little bit.
Living in Chicago and Boston really makes me hate that guy.
That's fair, as you should. Actually, I'm picking the Packers this week. I know he's a different team. Packers this week for my survival league. I need a win. I have 2 strikes.
Who are they playing? Oh, they're playing the Bears.
Yeah.
I think you'll be good.
Well, I picked the Bears to beat the Pats last week, and that didn't work out. So that gave me my
See,
second strike.
that's what you get going against the Patriots.
Um, but
You should have
it's
asked. You should have asked me first. I would have told you how bad they look.
you're right. I should have, but I would have figured, kind of like what you mentioned earlier, that Caleb Williams should be the better player. He has the better tools. He has the better talent in the skills. Um, it's just he's not able to put it together. And I mean, we can't blame the team, because his team is significantly better than what Justin Fields had last year or even the year before. Now, we could pick apart each and every team, look at Bryce Young and the Panthers, look at the Colts and Richardson. I mean, that team is pretty solid. So is it a team issue, or is it a Richardson problem? The Panthers suck. So it does Bryce Young suck, or does the Panthers just suck? And then we could Zach Wilson, do the Jets suck, or does Zach Wilson suck? Well, now that they have Aaron Rodgers and they've tried to make upgrades, the team still sucks. So it's just a double-bladed sword in such a pull and push battle that we can't figure this market out, and we never will. And of course, I'm not looking for consistency, even though I always do. But it's just like, without these guys to talk about, which the hobby significantly cares about, then are we just gonna buy some like Anthony Richardson 10s for $30 and Bryce Young 10s for $20? Like, is that where we're at right now? Because why should we go out and buy the $500, the $1,000 card, the multi-$1,000 cards, the one of ones of these kids when they could either be benched next week, hopefully not injured next week, or they may not get another chance this season.
Right.
It's
I
just
don't.
baffling, and that's why, like, when you mention safe bets, your Lamars, your Josh Allen's, your Mahomes, like as much as Mahomes is annoying, but when he went from two-time Super Bowl winner to three, nobody cared. And I
Right.
feel like we might see the same thing when Lamar, because he probably will win MVP if he stays on this track, goes from a two-time MVP to a three. I think his resume and his legacy will significantly jump, especially if he's able to maybe make it to a Super Bowl. But in terms of the card market, what is that really going to do? Because he's no longer a rookie. Who cares, right? I mean, isn't that kind of like where we're at? If he's not a rookie, who cares?
Right. No, yeah. The card market wants the next Lamar Jackson, not Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, I mean, we wanted the next guy, so we got it in CJ Stroud. Now CJ Stroud is old news, having a small slump, and now we're on to the next CJ Stroud, and that's Jaden Daniels. And when Jaden Daniels is no longer a rookie, everyone's going to be buying the next Jaden Daniels, whether that's Shadur Sanders, Jalen Milroe, or whoever. That's just a cycle.
Yeah, it's the same thing in baseball. I don't know. I don't know if it's the same magnitude, but I I just don't get
Like
it.
prospects.
Yeah, like everyone wants the next Mookie Betts or you know Freddie Freeman or whoever else. Why not
I
just
mean, I would consider it's probably the same thing. I mean, maybe I would say, I mean, it's apples and oranges, but for baseball perspective, I'd say it's on a similar magnitude because 3 years ago we were talking about Julio Rodriguez and Bobby Witt. Okay, now they're no longer rookies. Who are we talking about? We're talking about Jordan Walker, Anthony Volpe, Ellie De La Cruz gets called up. Okay, now they're no longer rookies. Who's the next guy? Jackson Holiday gets called up. Paul Skeens gets called up. And now that they're no longer going to be rookies, who's the next guy? Even though Bobby Witt just had an MVP like season, probably won't win, but he's a finalist. No one's talking about it. No one could care less. And I think Paul Skeens just absolutely changed the market for pitchers for the next,
mm-hmm.
hopefully, 10 years for when the next guy comes up, whoever that is. Maybe it's a Rhett Lauder or whoever's in the pipeline coming up, that when they do get the call, okay, let's actually buy this pitcher's cards instead of only focusing on position players. So I would say it's a similar magnitude, but again, it's just apples and oranges. It's hard to kind of cross it over.
It's going to be hard to live up to Paul Skeens, though.
Oh,
You
I
go
agree. I mean, he set the bar absolutely high.
11 and 3, sub 2 ERA, dating Livy Dunn.
But Ricky, let me ask you this. What if he stinks next year or regresses? There's going to be games where he gets lit up. He's going to give up 7 runs in 2 innings. It's going to happen. There's going to be a game where he can't even get out of the first inning. I mean, it just happens.
He's going to get Tommy John.
Yeah, and that too. I mean, all these pitchers nowadays get Tommy John because all they care about is throwing 100 plus and the spin rate.
Yeah, it's almost inevitable that he's going to get it. I don't. This isn't me praying it on him. I really hope it doesn't happen, but it's basically 99.9%.
I mean, like, going all the way back to the beginning of the year with our Jackson Holiday conversations. Like, I kept saying, what if he gets called up and he stinks? I never wanted him to stink, but he got called up and he did stink. And that absolutely broke the hobby for a while because he was 1 for 40 something, got called down, and people didn't know what to do with these multi-$1,000 cards that they bought in because these cards now lost all this value because the player on the card went 1 for 40 whatever, and then he got demoted back to AAA, never to be seen for another 3 months. So people just need to be cautious with what they buy. And again, this kind of circles back to our countless investment conversations and such. But when it comes to these players, these young players, we are setting the expectation in the bar so high. I look at a guy like Wemby. Again, let's cross over to another sport. He lived up to the expectations. He lived up to the hype. Dude got his own damn set from Tops. I mean, what more can you want from the guy? But what if he does put on muscle and he's not the same player? What if he does hurt himself? What if he does go on a slump or teams figure him out how to slow him down? Then what? I mean, this draft class sucks for basketball. I mean, all these rookies are terrible. So it's not like we can just go from, Wemby to the next. Like we can go from Stroud to Daniels.
Yeah, I mean, Wemby just dropped 50 last night. So
I mean, listen. I mean, he's definitely doing okay.
He's still going strong.
Well, I'm glad because I'm going against him in fantasy. So the guy who has him locked him in at the beginning of the week, so you won't get the 50-point bomb on me. So
you bailed out. You got bailed out.
Let's see how many points he did score though last night if he was able to lock it in. While I look that up, Ricky, I think since we're talking about baseball, I think it's a good time to segue into the MLB patch that everyone's going crazy over, the 1-of-1 MLB debut patch. I think I was a little hesitant. I don't remember. I think I was hesitant about it at the beginning when they first announced it last year. I think it's kind of cool. But what are your thoughts about it? You wanted to talk about it. Is this something that this is worth chasing? Is this something worth buying or trying to pull regardless of the player?
Yeah, I definitely had my doubts about it when it first came out. I thought it was just another, stupid little gimmick, another money grab. But I do like the idea of it. I think they are pretty cool. So the set just dropped, Chrome update. I know prices were pretty high, as everything is now with the hobby. But no, I think pulling anyone would be great. Obviously, pulling one of the top rookies is the goal, but I just think those cards are cool. I know, as far as I know, one has been pulled already. I think it's like a rookie pitcher. I've never heard of the guy, but no, you have posts from Matt Holliday, Jackson Holliday's father, saying he would love to own Holliday's card. So whoever pulls that, could sell it to Matt Holliday.
Instant buyer.
Well, that'd be cool.
Let me ask you this: if you were to pull one, now I'm sure it depends on the player. If you were to pull one, are you selling it or are you going to keep it? Because they're all game used. They're all sticker patches.
Yeah,
but
it depends on the player.
Okay,
like you just said. Like if it's some random rookie AIDS reliever, then yeah, I'm probably not going to keep it.
You're not interesting.
Even though it'd be cool. But
so whose would you keep? Like, are you keeping like Ellie's and Jackson Hollidays and Paul Skeens?
I would keep Rafaela's, probably.
Okay.
Any other Red Sox rookies.
Because there's 251 players on the list. See how many Red Sox players there are. Red Sox. Let's see.
I guess
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Who is that guy? 9. Okay, here it is. We got 9. Here they are. We have Brandon Walter, Cam Boozer, Chris Murphy, shout out, Cedane Rafaela. We have David Hamilton. So all those guys I know. We're good there. Yeah. Then we got Joe Jaquez, who I've heard. Then we got Justin Slayton. That's not who I was reacting about. Naoyuki Uwasawa. And then Wilyer Abreu.
That guy, reliever?
It doesn't say.
Oh.
It's just sounds like a reliever. Definitely sounds like one. But no, I think it's grown on me a lot, and I'm curious to see. And I think I would like to see when Fanatics takes over the licenses of football and basketball, for them to do something similar or the exact same thing. They could literally just copy and paste. And it
Yeah.
could be, NFL debut, NFL debut. It could be NBA debut. And again, it just gives us another thing to chase. Guaranteed game worn, on card autos, one of ones. And it's just something else for us to sink our teeth in. Cash grab, kind of like you mentioned earlier, but this time for 3 sports: baseball, basketball, football, because there's always going to be new releases. There's always going to be new rookies making their debuts, regardless of the sport. So it's just a consistent, I don't know if it's a consistent cash cow, because obviously that just depends on the rookies that make their debut that year. But for 251 players that made their debut this past year, and of course there's a couple guys like Ellie and Junior Caminero whose cards are in the set even though they debuted last year. So obviously that kind of skews things a little bit. But I think this would be a genius idea for them to do when they get the stuff, when they get the licenses next year. Oh, not next year. I'm sorry, 2 years from now. 2
Yeah, I was
years.
gonna say, wow, that's already next year.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Speaking of Fanatics, I know before we hit record, I said I'm going to just copy and paste what I texted myself at 5 in the morning. It probably won't make sense, but you kind of got a gist of it. So I'm going to read it here on the video. People listening are probably going to be like, what the hell does that mean? But let me break it down. So this is what I texted myself, and then I threw in our chat. Will Fanatics have a, quote, first edition, end quote, type card the first year of licensed products to reintroduce missed players, quote, rookie cards? Now, makes absolutely no sense, but let me break it down. When Fanatics does get the licensing, this is kind of what I'm alluding to, for basketball, for football, that first year in 2026, let's 2026 Topps Chrome football or Topps Chrome basketball, whatever, when it's fully licensed, they can't make rookie cards of Joe Burrow, of Mahomes, I guess they already did Wemby, but not licensed ones. Do we think they could go back, not make rookie cards, but it could be a kind of how they have a Bowman first edition, but it could be a Fanatics first edition or however the term is. So 10 years from now, when we see Joe Burrow on that card and it has that little first edition logo or that Fanatics first edition logo on it, we know that was the first ever licensed football Fanatics Topps Chrome card of that player. That's kind of what I was alluding to, because you can't go back in retroactive rookie cards. But for that groundbreaking set in 2026, this was that player's first, especially for those that didn't get, licensed rookie cards that year, not for the class of 2026, but for the veterans for that matter. I think that would be, I don't know if it'd be a home run because they're not rookie cards, but they're first edition cards or pseudo first edition cards. So now that I explained it a little bit more, and I think it probably makes a little bit more sense to you, what are your thoughts of hearing that? Do you think that's a good idea, or am I just bullshitting?
The first edition.
Be honest. Murph, it's a bad idea, I'm gonna tell you.
I think it would definitely be a chase. I don't know if I necessarily like it. I do think it would be a collector's piece, and I'm sure some made up bounty or pull this and get whatever will be made up for the first editions if there is one. But no, I don't think that's that bad of an idea.
So the way I was thinking of it, I kind of like how you kind of interpreted it as a chase card, as something to kind of like the MLB debut patch kind of, chase towards it. The way I was thinking it was going to be base cards, just so everyone had access to them. And then, of course, you can mix in your numbered cards. You can mix in your autos, which are the chase cards. But do you want a set to be watered down with all these Fanatics first or first edition cards? Because everyone in that set's going to have the first edition cards,
Right.
being the first licensed run of whatever set that is with whatever the checklist is. So they're all going to be first edition. But maybe you could have, let's just say that's Topps Chrome. You could have a Topps Chrome update where they're not first edition, obviously, or they're not that Fanatics first. So, that's kind of how I was thinking it as like base cards. But, having them as chasers, I think, is a different twist to it. Now, if this is an idea that is palpable to Fanatics, I want credit for it because I thought of this at 5 o'clock this morning. I made it up and then just kind of spitballing the ideas back and forth a little bit. So that was just something I kind of wanted to touch upon. I mean, I thought it would be a cool idea. 5 o'clock in the morning thoughts. Something cool.
No, I mean it's definitely something I'd see them doing, creating another chase.
And that's what they like. That's what Michael Rubin likes is the chase. And that's why I don't count out, kind of going back a little bit, to the NFL and the NBA debut patches when they get them, because it will be game worn. You literally do the same thing that you're doing with baseball. I don't need to rehash the conversation, but it's a chase. It's a cash grab. It will help sell boxes. It will make the aftermarket for those cars sell, because I think last year, even the no name guys who had these MLB debut patches, like their cards were even selling for $1,000, let alone like the Volpe who has the bounty, which hasn't been found yet. So there is value there. I mean, if a no name is chasing $1,000, just imagine what a I'm trying to think of, like, Shedeur Sanders, let's just say Shedeur Sanders NFL debut patch, one of one
Mm-hmm.
auto would sell for. Like, I mean, it'd just be stupid money. Or what a Ethan Holiday. Well, I guess that's already baseball. I can't think of any basketball guys because the rookie class sucks. But, when Ethan Holiday gets called up, years from now, his MLB debut 101 when he's playing for the Red Sox, hopefully, what that would go for.
No,
Speaking of
I
the Red
mean,
Sox,
what's up?
I was going to say Juan Soto. He's going to be sitting down with the Sox.
I would consider moving back to Boston if that happens.
Really? I wonder how your girlfriend feels about that. Guy's nice and
She'll,
settled in. Beautiful fire pit, grand piano in the background, nice big couch. I mean, why would you
Juan
want to give
Soto
that up?
jersey on. Oh, no, I would be very excited if that happens.
Do they have a shot, do you think?
They have a shot,
Nope.
certainly. Do they want to take
Yeah,
that
shot,
shot?
being at the table. Yeah, that's true.
Do they want to take that shot? Probably not.
I think if the contract starts with 6, they're out. Even if it's like 13, 14 years, they don't want to commit the 600.
But
If
like,
it starts with 5 or less, which I'd be astonished if it's less, but if it starts with 5, I think they could be in, as cheap as they are.
but even then, like, who are they paying right now? Devers and
I,
who else?
well, you know what, Ricky? Let's just look it up. Red Sox 2025.
They probably have a bunch of players that have been gone for years on their payroll still.
All right, so this is now Red Sox Talk, a baseball podcast, episode number 1. Let's see here. Hold on. I was not ready to share my screen for today's episode, so I just need to set it all up. Share screen. You're going to love this payroll right here.
Oh,
Look at that. Look how awful this is. Look at this ad. Get this ad out of here. Get out of here. Get out of here. So Devers, of course, as we expected. Story, still big money. Lucas Giolito, big money. Yoshida, big money. If they can trade Yoshida for a bucket of baseballs and maybe some like a rosin bag or two, and not have to keep any of that money, that frees up so much money. Giolito opted into his player option, which is, I guess, his right. But everybody else down here is cheap. This is all cheap stuff right here.
Liam Hendricks. I forgot we even had Liam Hendricks and Lucas.
I know
Giolito.
He pitched like 2 games.
Look, Giolito was out before the season even started, I think.
Yeah, he Tommy John in spring training, I think. And then here's some retained payroll of Eric Hosmer, pennies, and then we're still paying Pedroia and Manny Ramirez.
That's fine. That's a good. Yeah. If there had to be 2 names there, I'm not sad it's them.
So, I mean, they have tons of money. They have tons and tons of money, especially when, I mean, you're not going to be able to move Story, but that contract will be expiring, I think, what, in 3 years, I think. Yoshida could be gone yesterday, and I won't be upset. And that's literally it. It's just those are the two bad contracts. Because, I mean, Giolito, if he's right, he's a good pitcher, and you
Mm-hmm.
kind of need him in the rotation, or at least somebody who can eat up innings. Do I want to be paying him $19 million? Probably not, but they could do it. Just a matter if they do.
Yeah, too bad our owner is too into soccer and NASCAR and all that stuff to care
Literally
about
everything else.
the Red Sox.
Yoshida's up in 3 years. Story, what is this? Is this a player option? Club option. He ain't
Okay,
coming back.
see you. Especially with Meyer and them coming up.
That's what I'm saying. So they're gonna have a lot of young guys coming up who can fill in a lot of those gaps. They don't have pitching to fill those gaps. So if you can move a Yoshida, you got Roman Anthony. Kyle Teal just kind of fills the backup catcher's void. And then you have Marcelo Meyer. I guess he's not really filling a void, but Trevor Story's replacement probably, down
Yeah.
the road.
And
They could do it.
Campbell will probably, because he's a first baseman right now.
What's
I
his
think
first name? Is it
he's
Christian?
Christian with a K.
Christian Campbell, Red Sox. He is a. Actually, I have no idea what position he is.
I'm pretty sure he's a
Baseball.
first baseman who started the catcher, but I think I might just be making that up.
Says Baseball Reference says second, short, and center.
Oh, so I was completely wrong.
I hate how they have
So
these kids moving around everywhere. Well, let's just look at the fielding. So second, left, outfield, second. So it's pretty much what's his name? I can't think of his name. Rafaela. That's pretty much what it is.
yeah, little move.
Just another copy and paste of Rafaela.
I mean, the way this kid blew up this year, he'll be in the league by then, by next September.
But yeah, I'm hoping that they can be competitive. Because last year with Ohtani, they said that they were interested. Listen, if you weren't interested in Ohtani, then you should be fired as the GM.
Right.
If you make a single phone call and that's it, that doesn't count as interest. I want to see some initiative. And I don't think the Red Sox had the initiative with Ohtani, because I do think he could have been brought in here if they paid him $700 million. I don't think that's what Soto will get. But anything under 6, you have to be one of the two teams to sign him. You have to be.
I mean, the fact that they're having a meeting with him is kind of promising.
So I saw Blue Jays, Sox, Mets, Yankees, and one more team, but I forget what that one more team. Oh, Dodgers.
And for some reason, the Rays were thrown in there.
Yeah, who don't even have a stadium right now. Maybe they should take that money to go fix a stadium up real quick so they can play home games next year.
It would cost them I saw that it would cost like $59 million to fix it, and it's not going to be ready for the 2025 season at all.
I was
you need a temporary home this season.
There's a Rays fan who comes here. He's from Florida,
and the Rays fan.
The one lonely Rays fan that lives up here for some reason. We were talking about it, and he's saying how they can't build a stadium fast enough because they're supposed to get a new stadium. So what bad timing, right? I told him, I was like, well, listen, they're in Florida. They have 15 or so minor league spring training stadiums. Just every week, just putt around to a new minor league spring training stadium, and it kind of will help grow baseball a little bit. It will help grow a Rays fan base, the Rays fan base, right? And it will just, I don't know, it just, you play a homestand. at like Fort Myers. Then you play another homestand at Port St. Lucie, and then you play another one at wherever, and you just kind of rotate.
Right.
It would suck. Don't get me wrong. No one wants to do that, but what other options do you have? I mean, I guess you could just stay put and play at like your spring training facility all year, or the Yankees being in Tampa. But I don't know. I think my idea is a little cooler.
I mean, yeah, they were never filling up the Trop anyway, so they'd get fans in the seats there if they switched around spring training stadiums.
Yeah, it would introduce new fans to baseball. Tickets would probably be cheap. Rays fans could still go. The few that are there would be able to go still catch games, travel a little bit. Again, it would help broaden the Rays fan base, especially leading up to their new stadium in a couple of years. But I can't believe we're talking about the Rays right now. I mean, holy crap!
Right.
Tampa Bay Rays talk, a baseball podcast, episode 1. Your host, Murph and Ricky. All right, let's talk about arguably the biggest set, guys. We talked about sports. And as this podcast continues to develop, we're going to be introducing more Pokemon elements into it. And very excited to be talking more about Pokemon as we get further along into this podcast's tenure. But we have to talk about, Ricky, arguably the biggest set. It might be the most groundbreaking set in modern history. I don't know the history of Pokemon, 10 years ago or 20 years ago, whatever. In modern times, this Prismatic Evolutions set featuring Eevee and its evolutions might break the internet. And it already kind of is. Do you want me to kind of go first, or would you like to go first, kind of giving our thoughts about this?
Yeah, I mean, I'll go first, and you could build off of it because I don't know too much about it. But no, I'm already seeing the hype going crazy. Pre-order number kind of crazy right now. Yeah, I'm just kind of getting into it, but it does seem like this is a lot of hype, a lot of anticipation for this set, and rightfully so. I mean, I've seen a couple of the pictures of the cards, and they look gorgeous.
Sorry, I'm just trying to pull up some pictures of a couple things just so I can bring some evidence to the table here. So I'll share my screen in just a few moments, but I just want to read this. For those that may not know, for those that might, Pokemon 151, obviously in English and a Japanese release. Japanese had booster boxes and had Master Ball hollows, where it was literally just like the reverse hollow with the little Pokeball with just an M on it. English, we didn't get that. We only got the reverse hollows. We didn't get no Master Balls. However, this Prismatic Evolution is introducing, or giving us, I should say, English Master Ball hollows. I don't think it's a big deal personally, but some people do. Some people love it. So that's one reason why this set is very hype. I already mentioned that it's revolving around Eevee and its evolutions, which that's obviously going to be extremely popular. I'm trying to see if I can get like a small checklist of the cards because that Moonbreon, it looks fantastic. Prismatic Evolutions Umbreon. Oh, here we go. Is this it? Give me this link. Is this it? All right, this is going to be a terrible picture, but we got to work with me here. Screen share, present. Now, for those that may not know Pokemon or care or understand it, if you're going to get into a set, I would probably say not this one because it's going to be extremely expensive. And it's going to be a very difficult set to collect because it's going to be so hard to find. So I just feel like it'd be hard for people to want to stay into Pokemon. Enough with these damn ads. So here's the Moonbreon. Can I zoom in? Oh, here. Oh, nope, it's not working.
You had it.
Oh, there we go. Get this damn. So again, the quality is bad, But this Moonbryon right here, well, Umbreon EX, has a
That's
moon in
cool.
the background. For those that know the Moonbryon from Evolving Skies, that is by far the best card from Sword and Shield. But all these other cards here, Leafeon, Flareon, Vaporeon, Glaceon, Jolteon, Espeon, Sylveon, Umbreon, and Eevee itself, all have special illustrator rares. They're beautiful looking. I know this picture is a little grainy. Absolutely gorgeous. They have the jewels floating around to kind of go along with the theme. It's these cards right here is one of many reasons why people are going after this set. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that this set will be better than 151 or Evolving Skies, but it's definitely going to be in that mix. And I think early on we'll kind of see and we'll kind of see what the pull rates are and how it tapers off. I want to go over to TCG Player real quick because the Elite Trainer boxes, which is going to be the best version of the product that we get here in the States. I don't know about Japan, but here in the States at least, there's no booster boxes, there's no ultra premium collections. It's just right here, the Elite Trainer box, where you're going to be getting 9 packs, a promo, divider, sleeves, dice, all that fun stuff. This is supposed to be MSRP $49.99. Ricky, it's already $85. And the product's not even out yet. Almost double. Here we have the Pokemon Center one, which I believe you shared with me earlier, for $400. I don't know what the MSRP on Pokemon Center is. I think in sets past, I think it's like $65 or $70, I think. But you do get a little extra stuff. You get 2 extra packs. You get the Pokemon Center stamp on the Eevee promo. But is that really warranted to be 400 effing dollars? I personally don't think so, but I'm not the one paying for it. So just from this alone, and let me share this too. So we're not only getting. Oh, here's those the Master Ball I was talking about. Get out of here. So this is what I was talking about. Is the Pokeball, and then there's like a little M kind of right in here. It's hard to see on the picture. But those are the Master Balls that I was referring to. How the hell do I get out of this picture? Here we go. You get the ETBs, Pokemon Center ETBs. You get the binder collection, which we got with 151. People love that. It's
Yeah,
beautiful
that's
looking
cool. I
binder to
like
store
that.
the cards. You get a poster. I don't know if this is the poster right here or if it expands. I would assume that it expands into something bigger than that. Maybe. I'm not sure. Sticker collections, which a lot of people don't care about. Mini tins. Surprise box, where I think this will actually be pretty popular because you get 4 packs in the box, and you get one of 9 Eevee or Evolution promo cards.
Oh
So
wow.
even if you buy 9 of them, you're not guaranteed to get 9 separate ones, but you are guaranteed to at least get one of 9. So I think that will kind of be a chase in itself, so people can collect all those promos. These booster bundles, as far as I know, are a Pokemon Center exclusive because none of my distributors offered them. None of them have them in stock or anywhere. I haven't seen anything on them. And then you got a little accessory pouch, which I also do believe is a Pokemon Center exclusive. So that's kind of cool there. But yeah, no, I think this set's going to be absolutely crazy. Will it be better than 151? I am not sure. I think it's going to trend in that direction. But 151, year plus later, is still very strong, still very expensive, and still very sought after. Ricky, are you going to be buying this set? Are you diving in?
Yes. Um,
Why is that?
I've already told you what I wanted, but no, I think, like you said, this is going to be a good. Oh no, you said it's not going to be a good set to jump in if you're new, but
I personally don't think so. I mean, you can give me your thoughts. Maybe I'm wrong on that. If you think this is a perfect set for someone to dive into, I just don't think it is because the price point that we're already
yeah,
seeing
yeah,
on this stuff. If they were ducks sitting on shelves, then yeah, absolutely dive in. But I just think it's gonna be hard for people to go out and buy, possibly pay a premium to want to collect the cards or the set itself. I think it would just be very unappealing from that perspective.
yeah. I mean, I don't know, man. I really like that set. So I can't not at least buy one ETB. I just think those cards are gorgeous, all of them.
I need to see them in person. I mean, I don't know which one I like the most. I like them all. I don't think I like the Jolteon one though. For some
Oh,
reason, that one's just
I was
I
gonna
don't know
say that's
why.
one of my favorite ones.
Again, see, I need to see him in person. These grainy pictures kind of skew it a little bit. Kind of sucks. Right now, I like the water ones. I like the Glaceon and the Vaporeon.
Uh-huh.
But I think this Umbreon right here is the chase one because it's similar to the Moonbreon from Evolving Skies. But Ricky, since you just recently got into Pokemon, and this is kind of the first big set to release. Obviously, there's been sets to release, but this is the first massive set to release. Do you think your Pokemon collecting endeavors are ready for this set? Because you may have to stop collecting sports for a little bit to collect this stuff because this is going to consume you a little bit. Because what? Because you'll buy an ETB and you'll pull the special illustrator rare, the one that you least like, and you're like, damn, if I could pull one, I could pull another. Then you're gonna want to buy more boxes to hopefully pull another one, or sell it to go buy the other one. There's a lot here to digest.
And listen, I'm not opposed to pausing sports cards, Pokemon. Like, kind of
Why
at
not?
this point, I just want to dump all my cards to COMC and just let it be their problem and just focus on Pokemon.
So now this is an interesting conversation that we could have. Let's bring us full screen here, Ricky. Is is I mean, like me, sport guy, big sports time guy, fan, collector, enthusiast, knowledge head. But like me, you've taken a turn for Pokemon cards. Now we've talked about this before. The artwork's cooler. There's less volatility. But could we see more of a shift? Now I already know the answer from here at the shop and the shift that I've seen. But do you think that this set or other sets, or if not, we've already had this shift from people collecting more sports to now transitioning to more Pokemon cards. Especially with the conversation we've already had about the lack of quarterback hype and the development problem the NFL has, and the expensive chase cards from baseball. Whereas, sure, Pokemon has expensive chase cards and expensive sets, but there's little to no volatility with Charizard again tearing an ACL or Pikachu, getting a speeding ticket or getting locked up for 10 months. I mean, there's none of that. So do you think we'll see more? If not, we've already started to see a massive shift from sport collectors to Pokemon collectors.
I mean, personally, I've kind of shifted gears a lot because I just find this stuff more fun. There's more less there's more like collectors and more people who actually genuinely enjoy this stuff
Mm-hmm.
as opposed to I I just don't like dealing with flippers, to be completely honest. I
Hey,
think
that
they're annoying.
is totally fair.
So no, I think this is like kind of a breath of fresh air. Like people who actually like the stuff, they're having fun with it. They collect who they like.
I don't mean to interrupt you, but right there, they're actually having fun with it. We don't see that with the sports cards, Ricky. We don't. I mean, sure, maybe the older collectors, those that actually like collecting, the vintage guys or guys that they grew up watching from the 70s and 80s. But people today, far and few between, don't collect for the fun of it. But people of all ages in Pokemon traditionally do. And I think that's the biggest separator here. That is why people are getting more into Pokemon because they're not selling to flippers. They're not selling to people who are looking to get 60, 70%. They're selling it to people who want the card, who are willing to buy the card for 90, 95, 100% because they want it. They enjoy it. They're having fun with it. And I think that's the huge separator between sports and Pokemon card. And I know you've been seeing it too.
Yeah, so like even on YouTube, oh my cat wants to say hi.
Hello, Kitty. What are your thoughts? Oh, is Evie a cat or a dog? There's
Uh,
that's Umbreon right there.
no, we have a black cat. He's somewhere. But is he a cat or a dog?
That's a serious question. That's a conversation I've had with people. Hold on, I'll pull up a picture.
Cat.
Hold on,
No.
hold on, stand by.
I feel,
Hold on,
I feel like all that
hold on,
evolution.
hold on. Stand by.
No,
Picture
right.
coming. Picture coming.
I mean,
Evie a cat or a
that's
dog?
cat.
Really?
That's cat.
Okay. So someone once said that Eevee. Now, I think the evolutions are a little different. I think some of them go back and forth a little bit
I
between
think
cat and
I think
dog.
the evolutions look more like cats than himself does.
So I would agree with that. Um, Eevee, though, someone once said looks like a fox, and I was like, huh, interesting.
Yeah, yeah.
But Ricky, a fox is a canine, and canines are dogs. So I rest my case.
No, but
Sorry, carry on. Carry,
like,
carry.
even what I see on YouTube, like sports car dealers and buyers and all this stuff, it looks like they're just doing it half or like going through the motions of it or whatever else, like doing it like it's a job. The Pokemon dealers and buyers, they're actually look like they're having fun.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's a big part of it. Like sports car dealers kind of look, bah. I'm here
I feel like
because it's money. I am here because whatever.
sports car dealers look exhausted in
That's
a way.
exactly like
It's rinse and repeat.
they just look like they don't want to be there.
Yeah. You know, it's funny because I know we joked about this last night. How Mrs. Murph was posting some cards on eBay for me while she's, on maternity leave, so she's bored. And I was like, hey, I could bring some cards home and you could post it on eBay for me. And I showed her how to do 3 cards and she did 2 cards on her own. And she's going to do a lot more today. But just in those 5 cards that we did, she had a little smile. She was giggling a little bit. She was having a little bit of fun. Oh, there's Umbreon.
Here's Umbreon,
Oh, wow. Oh, that is a beautiful kitty.
right?
You just got to paint the tail like yellow for Halloween, and then we can call it Umbreon. That's so cool. So what would you call the other one? Would that one just be Eevee? Because that was kind of like brown.
Yeah, she could be easy.
Fair enough. But yeah, going back to the fun thing, I mean, Mrs. Murph was just helped me post 5 cards in total and smile, giggling, and having fun. Like, I mean, she collected the cards. She played the game when she was younger, and she doesn't really care much about the hobby today, like you or I
Mhm.
do. But it's just so much better and so much healthier than sports cards. And there was a stack of sports cards there too. And I was like, listen, we can just do those tomorrow. We don't have to worry about those because those are
Right.
stressful because you got to worry about the set, the numbering, the auto, whatever. Whereas with the Pokemon cards, it's pretty simple, but simple in a good way. And I just love how you just kind of mentioned just they're having fun. Even on YouTube, you can see that they're enjoying themselves. And I don't know what it'll take for sports cars to get back to that point because it can be fun. It can be exciting and enjoying. It doesn't have to be exhausting and feel like a job, but people make it such. And with the
Mhm.
state of the quarterback market for football, I just don't know if we're going to get there anytime soon unless we see a dramatic shift, which I don't think we will anytime soon.
I mean, that dramatic shift might be the licensing, but
We could
I
only
just,
hope,
yeah,
but that's another year and a half away.
right. Like I don't want to wait another year and a half to be excited about sports cards.
Exactly.
So I don't
It's
know. I'm not completely out of sports cards. Like I still like it a lot, but like it just hasn't been getting my attention as much recently.
I mean, and I don't blame you. I mean, I see people taking breaks all the time from cards, and I'm like, damn, I wish I could take a break from cards, but I can't. But that's just what you sign up for. But like, I mean, right now, baseball's over, basketball's still early. A lot of people don't care about hockey, but that's still early. And football, we're in like the exact middle of the season. So there's really not much going on right now. So like we all know that Lamar's going to be in the mix. Mahomes will be in the mix. Josh Allen will be in the mix. Jalen Hurts will be in the mix for a Super Bowl. And then I can't think of another NFC quarterback because the NFC just blows.
Purdy, but they're in the
Purdy
middle.
probably. I mean, Jaden Daniels if he can stay right. So I mean, there's like half a dozen guys right there. And come January, you could probably still buy those guys for a decent price to be able to flip it come whoever wins the Super Bowl. But again, now we're talking about this whole flipping conversation. Whereas with Pokemon, we're not really so much talking about a flipping conversation. We're talking about a collecting conversation when it comes more to Pokemon. And if you pull a card that you don't want, fine, go sell it to go buy more boxes or buy the cards you want. So it's two completely different mindsets here. And I think a lot of people are going from sports to Pokemon or dabbling at least with Pokemon as being sport collectors. And not a lot of people, if any at all, Ricky, are going from Pokemon to sport. Because why would you do that to yourself?
Right. No, that's a good point, actually.
So it's a dramatic shift. I think we're seeing a dramatic shift in the hobby. All right. Before we get to our outgoing takes here, do we have anything else that we need to discuss about? Because we have a little bit of time. It could be sport, it could be Pokemon, it could be anything related.
Actually, I'm excited to get that package I just bought from you for the BMS cards.
Yes.
Where's yours?
Dude. Oh God. Oh, I put them away. They're the front of the shop. But I know I don't have them on hand. But let me tell you, the video is already out, right? Yeah, the video came out yesterday of me opening the Blue Mountain State Leaf box. Ricky, it was such a blast.
I'm actually so excited.
This is my one gripe with it is it has the actor's name on the card instead of the character's name.
Oh, really?
That's the only problem I have with it. So I pulled a Sammy printing plate 1/1 auto, the mascot, the roommate, the guy who never gets laid. I pulled, but it said Chris Romano on it.
He's the creator of the show.
So yeah, no, obviously, he's the creator, producer, he does everything. But like, oh man, if it just said Sammy on it, it would have been awesome.
Sammy
So like,
when,
if I was to pull a Thad Castle card, it's not going to say Thad. I forget the name of the actor who plays Thad Castle. Who plays Thad Castle? Actor Alan Richson. So if I'm pulling a Thad Castle card, I'm pulling an Alan Richson card.
Damn.
That's the only gripe I have with it. And I didn't know that until I was opening the cards. But like, it says on the backside, it says, Alan Richson plays the top linebacker Thad Castle, and then it kind of talks about Thad Castle throughout the card. It doesn't really mention the actor's name. So,
when I looked at the Leaf post again, there's actually a pretty cool card in there that has Marty Daniels with Urban Meyer and Nick Saban on it, like a triple auto. Like that's
electric.
Sick.
A triple auto.
That's pretty sick,
dude. Getting a Marty Daniels auto plus Urban Meyer, great collegiate coach, terrible NFL coach, but still the memes are there from him at the strip club in Jacksonville. And then you got the GOAT and Nick Saban. That card doesn't get any better. And Marty Daniels was a player himself in the show. That doesn't get any better.
Like
so
that's pretty cool.
And then there was this there was one die cut of Shiloh, the running back, and it was a keg stand die cut. The card was in the shape of a keg, and it looked like a keg. It was purple because it was a purple die cut. And I'm like, this is fantastic. They did a fantastic job. Again, just I wish it was the character, not the actor's name, but I get it. Probably for like licensing reasons or whatever. Phenomenal product. Ricky, I want to open more. I want to go live and open more. Oh, you're going to have so much fun whenever you get the package. Hopefully you get it ASAP.
I can't wait for that.
Make a video, go live. I need to see a reaction because I want to know who that auto is. Because if you pull a Alan Richson auto, I need to know about it. Oh God.
Yeah.
Oh God. All right. Um. Wow, that was we a little depressive conversation talking about the lack of interest and lack of hype with sports cards. Then we just kind of dive into this Leaf conversation. I'm feeling good now, Ricky. I'm sure you're feeling good too. But let's get into our outgoing takes here. What do we want to depart today's episode with?
Um, Even though I said we weren't buying sport cards, we're still buying James Wood.
I love that. I love that.
His chase isn't an MLB Chrome update, so I'm mad about that. I think, but no, but I mean, just at the end of the day, collect what you like. That's kind of the reason why I've kind of shifted into Pokemon now, because it's like the artwork is just so cool and it's so fun. So that's what I like for now. Hopefully, I like that for a while. But it's definitely a breath of fresh air. I'm having fun with it. I'm buying not to sell, but to actually collect because I like the cards. So yeah, it's a breath of fresh air. Sometimes you need to reset. So do that for yourself and have some fun. Make sure you're having fun.
It's a very beautiful way to kind of have fun, collect what you like. Don't buy just to sell. It's all points that need to be hammered home because there's a lot of people just have that buy to sell or they'll open something, how much is it worth, or whatever kind of mindset. I mean, I see so many times people will open a box and they immediately pull out eBay. Oh, it's only a $20 card. It's like, that's not the point. Again, if you don't like the card and you want to sell it to fund something else, fine, go ahead. I can confirm James Wood is not in the set. I just looked it up. He is not, unfortunately. But
Next,
my outgoing take, what's that?
I said next year it is.
2025 Topps Chrome hobby boxes are going to go crazy for Ricky Rips. Even though he rips Pokemon now, but that'll be the one time he gets back into sports is right there. But my outgoing
Yes.
take is going to be, oh, I just had it. Um, crap, what was it? Um, oh, don't be afraid to dabble with other things. And what I mean by other things is if you collect football, don't be afraid to try basketball or baseball if you're not collecting those already. Don't be afraid to cross into the world of Pokemon or into Magic if that's what you played when you were younger. There's a lot of great products out right now that a lot of people are probably fond of, but they don't collect because it's not hyped up. Like there's Topps Chrome Star Wars, there's soccer, there's NASCAR. I mean, I'm just trying to look like the Celtics, championship set. Like there's a lot of stuff out right now for people like Lorcana. Brand new set of Lorcana's coming out. Obviously, we just got, Pokemon set, a week ago, and we're getting the Terrapagos UPC next week. So there's like a lot of stuff for people to just collect and dabble with. So if you're, you know, in it for the money, then maybe this isn't for you. But if you're looking to be a collector and you see a $20-$25 box, at a store, at a shop, or, whatever, don't be afraid to try. You might not pull anything good, but that's not the point. Have fun with it. That's what the point of this hobby is to have fun. Hobbies in general, you're supposed to have fun. And Ricky and I have been preaching this point forever, it seems like. And obviously we tried to make it a point today by having fun, collecting what we like. And that's kind of going to be my outgoing take is don't be afraid to branch out a little bit, especially with the market of football being as down as it is, because that's all people in the hype world community care about is quarterbacks in football, rookie quarterbacks. But right now, there's really nothing there to kind of, enjoy. So, and because, people don't care about running backs and wide receivers and such. So branch out into stuff you like Transformers. That 40th anniversary of the 85 release cards are coming out. Should be fairly soon, within a week or so. I'm a big Transformers fan, and if someone listening is a big Transformers fan, look out for that set. It's gonna be fun. It's supposed to look and feel like the 85 stock, the card stock that they used back then to print them. I'm gonna be trying to master that set, fingers crossed. So branch out into other areas that you like, not what other people like, but what you like.
Right.
That's my outgoing take, Ricky.
No, it's a good one.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining Ricky and I for episode. I put 31, but is it 31? I might be confused here.
No, I think
Uh,
you're right.
yes, for episode 31 of Hobby Talk, a cardboard podcast. We both thank you very, very much. It felt weird after literally just recording 2 episodes back to back weeks and then having the 2 week off and then sitting down to do this one. So my schedule is a little off. So I do apologize for that. But Ricky, as always, thank you so much for joining. Everybody, smash the thumbs up button, comment down below your thoughts, questions, comments, concerns, and of course, hit the giant red subscribe button. Check out the channel membership program. Ricky, I will see you for next episode, as I will see everybody else. But between now and then, see you guys later.
See you later.